Alrighty, if you are here right now, you've either just come from part one of this two-part podcast series, or maybe something in you knew that you needed to just be in this conversation alone. Because what we opened up in the first episode, it wasn't just information. It really wasn't. It was a doorway. It was a portal. I walked you through the tree of life, the sfirot from a Kabbalistic perspective. And we began to understand manifestation not as this surface level concept of thinking positive, which so much manifestation information is surface level. Think positively and the thing will manifest. No, what we did in the first episode was something deeply structured, deeply spiritual, and actually incredibly precise. It was a blueprint. We spoke about how energy moves, how creation unfolds, how you are not just wishing for a reality, but you are literally participating in how it comes into form in the 3D. And there's a real blueprint for this. There's a real methodology, hence the manifestation method. And so if you haven't listened yet to part one, I highly recommend you pause this episode and go back, because this episode is going to take everything we opened up there and bring it into something much more real, much more practical, and honestly, in my opinion, much more mind-bending, right? Because today we're going deeper into the mechanics of how this actually works in a step-by-step process. Okay, so we're not just talking spiritual, we're also talking scientific, and then I'm going to kind of bridge the gap between the two. So let's go deep and let's dive right in. Becoming a co-creator with the creator is your birthright. Together, we'll journey into your deepest authenticity. Because the more you align with who you truly are, the more effortlessly you call in the life that you desire and deserve. And most importantly, the more you step into your soul's highest purpose. Welcome to the Manifestation Method podcast, your number one source for Kabbalistic manifestation. Here we combine the ancient wisdom of Kabbalah, modern psychology, and quantum physics to help you achieve real, tangible manifestation results with my proven Abra method. I'm Ayelet Polonsky, and I'm here to guide you on your journey of manifesting a life that is aligned, expansive, and deeply connected to your highest self through the sacred energetic mechanics of Kabbalistic manifestation. To learn how to use Kabbalistic manifestation to transform your life from the inside out, go to ayeletpolonsky.com or download the Manifestation Method app. Let's open the gates of manifestation together. All right, I want to talk to you about something that I believe really completely shifts the way we understand reality. And it also happens to be something that Kabbalah has been teaching for thousands of years, long before we had the language of modern physics to even describe it. And really, truly, once you get this, once this lands in your body and you have your moment, then manifestation stops feeling like something you're trying to do, like a to-do list. And it really starts feeling like something you're already inside of. I always say, manifestation is not a to-do list. Manifestation is not just a 10-minute visualization ritual every morning. It's a lifestyle. It's an embodiment. It is who you are on the most cellular fundamental level of your being, right? And the truth is, you are not separate from the field. We spoke about the quantum field in the first episode. You are not outside of creation trying to influence creation. You are part of the process by which your reality becomes real. You are not separate from the field. And so that's kind of what we're going to expand on today. I'm going to talk about the observer effect. I'll be talking about consciousness. We'll be talking about your role in collapsing possibility, what's possible for you, into actual 3D form, into your actual life. And then I'm going to walk you through exactly how to work with this in your daily life, right? Not in theory, but in practice, in a way that actually changes how you show up, how you think, how you feel, what you create ultimately, right? Because that's what we're here. We're here to create a life that is beyond our wildest imagination. And it is truly possible for each and every one of us. Right? So, okay, so let's just take a deep breath together, myself included, and let yourself drop in a little bit deeper. Allow this to be not just information, but allow this to be a divine transmission that awakens a truth in you, right? Because in this episode is where all the information in part one kind of comes together and we can kind of wrap a pretty little ribbon around it. Okay, so I want to start by talking about something in the realm of quantum physics before we go fully into the practices, because one is maybe the most mind-bending of all. And it also happens to be something that Kabbalah has been teaching for thousands of years, which obviously I love sourcing everything in Kabbalah. I think it is the most mystical, ancient, divine blueprint that that we have been gifted with. And so this concept is called the observer effect. You might have heard of it before, but here is the basic discovery. So in quantum mechanics, particle, right? Think like the most minute detail of an atom, right? What the particle within the atom. It doesn't have a definite state. It doesn't have an actual position. It doesn't have a definite spin or a definite anything until it is observed by a human being, until someone measures it, right? So before our observation of something that is seemingly material or physical or dense in matter, these particles exist in what is called superposition, which basically means all possible states at the same time. So the act of human observation collapses infinite possibilities into one single actual real outcome. Okay, and so this is not just a weird quirk of tiny particles. This is a fundamental truth about the nature of reality. Right. And if this is still feeling a little abstract for you, just bear with me. I promise you things will start to make more and more sense as I unpack and unravel what this all means. Right. So essentially, consciousness is not a passive bystander watching reality unfold. Consciousness, your consciousness, is an active participant in creating the reality that you see. And so your attention doesn't just notice what's real, your attention helps make things real. And that's challenging to wrap our minds around. I get it. But so let's bring this back to Kabbalah, because in Kabbalistic teaching, the entire purpose of creation is for Ein Sof, which I spoke about in the previous episode, Ein Sof meaning the infinite, to know itself through the finite. So the purpose of creation is for, we'll call it God, the divine, the creator, to know him or herself through us, through the finite, through human beings, right? It's for the boundless to experience itself through the eyes of the limited individual beings. And so the mystics taught that in some profound sense, the divine needs the human witness. This is what I mean when I say co-creation. We're in it together. We're in this mystical, divine, cosmic dance with Ein Sof, with the creator. Okay, and so the divine potential, right? God requires our consciousness, our embodied awareness in order for anything to become actualized. Right. And so the Zohar, the foundational text of Kabbalah, right, this gorgeous, mysterious, ancient book of mystical wisdom, teaches that there is no place devoid of divine presence. Divine presence is everywhere. It's everywhere in everything. It's like reminds me of a song that they teach my kids in Hebrew school when they're young. Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is truly everywhere. Up, up, down, down, right, left, and all around. Here, there, and everywhere. That's where he can be found. It's like so cute, but it's like also applies to adults. It's just, it's the reality that we're in. Right? The universe, in some real, meaningful sense, is how infinity experiences itself through your eyes. And that infiniteness is everywhere. So quantum physics says that consciousness, our human consciousness, collapses the wave function, meaning our awareness turns possibility into reality. Our awareness alone turns possibility into reality. This is so important from the realm of manifestation, right? Kabbalah says that the human being is the channel through which divine potential becomes actual. So if God exists as everything, everywhere, at all times in potential, our co-creative capacities as human beings is what takes that potential and brings it into the realm of actual. Okay, and so both quantum mechanics and Kabbalah are pointing at the same truth here, which is you are not inside the universe passively watching the universe like it's a movie and you're sitting back with a tub of popcorn. No, you are part of how the universe becomes real. And for your manifestation practice, right, if consciousness genuinely participates in collapsing probability into actual real life events that you're experiencing, then what you hold in your sustained, focused, emotionally alive awareness is not just daydreaming. It is actually in real time interacting with a field, the quantum field, the field of Ein Sof. We're interacting with a field that is genuinely responding to your consciousness. This is the dance. This is why we are co-creators. We are not robots. We are not angels that are given a specific task and that's our only task, and then we live without free will. No, our free will is what gives us our co-creative superpower. Right? So you are the observer, and what you observe, meaning what you hold in clear, consistent, heart-connected awareness, is what you are helping to bring into existence. Okay? And this is not just woo-woo magical thinking. This is physics, this is ancient wisdom, and we're all saying the same thing, essentially. Okay? So we've done the deep dive, we've done the science, the mysticism, the tree of life, we've spoken about the observer effect. So now let's talk a little bit about how this actually looks like in practice, right? Because if you know me, you know I never just like to give you beautiful concepts that stay in the realm of theoretical or too mystical that we can't like touch it and make it practical in our day-to-day lives. I like to leave you with a way to work with these truths. And so here's a complete framework, right? And I'm going to be drawing both from quantum principles and Kabbalistic practice and kind of bringing it all together to see how we can actually manifest from this field. Right? So every single powerful manifestation practice that I know of begins with the same thing. It begins step one, silence, sacred pause, stillness, getting quiet, call it whatever you want, but there is a shush it. My 4-year-old, she loves to say shush it, right? So there is a period of needing to shush it, just shush it. And in Kabbalah, there's a practice called hitbonenut, which translates to like deep contemplative absorption. So it means just sitting with awareness itself. It means not analyzing, not planning, not visualizing yet, just being, observing, fully, quietly, expansively present, being with what is. And here's why this is the first step, right? Because you cannot work with the field of infinite possibilities until you've touched that field. And you touch the field by quieting the noise of your ordinary daily chattering mind, right? So all the to-do lists and the worries and the what ifs, right? We don't deal with that until what we want to touch is just pure open awareness that is beyond the to-do lists. And this is kind of what I think of as the Ein Sof state, right? The state of infiniteness. It is a place before thought. So the infinite ground beneath all of your ordinary thinking, right? This is where the power is. This is where you are connected to everything. And so from a quantum perspective, think of it as your consciousness expanding back toward the field, right? Before anything collapses into the particular busy details of your life, right? You're kind of like bringing your awareness up, 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 and out, all the way out into the field where the micro details of your day to day don't exist yet, right? And so, really, the practice is, and I'm a big fan of visualization, so I'm not knocking it, but this precedes visualization. So, before you do any visualization or before you do any intention setting, spend at least 5 to 10 minutes in pure breath focused silence, not doing anything, not trying to get anywhere, just letting the mind settle, right? Letting yourself arrive at the quiet underneath the noise. And the more consistently you do this, the more accessible the field becomes. Okay, and then that takes us to the next step, step 2. And so, okay, from that big, wide open quiet, now once we've gotten quiet, we can bring in our intention. Okay, and here's the key. We do it the way that Tzimtzum contraction works, right? What do I mean by Tzimtzum? It's like we bring in a loving precision, right? We get beautifully specific with intentional contraction. So we start by being in the infinite, in the quiet of nothingness, and then we hone in and we contract a little bit to bring in that infinite possibility into this one specific kavanah, intention, one specific thing. So in that specificity, you're describing what exactly do you want, right? And I'm not talking about like a vague feeling. I'm not just saying, oh, I want more abundance or I want a better life, right? I'm talking about a specific reality. What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like in your body when you imagine that you're already there? This is who you are, that desired state. This is who I am right here, right now. What does it feel like in your body? Right? And so in Kabbalah, the practice of intentional focused prayer is called kavanah. Kavanah. And it literally just means the precise aiming of your heart and mind towards a specific intention. And just to clarify, this is not about force. It's not about demanding that the universe do what you want, but it is about the beautiful, disciplined act of getting clear on exactly what it is you're calling in, and then pointing every part of yourself in that direction, right? So feeling it on a cellular level. And so the practice is after you access silence, which we said was step 1, write your intention down, and really important to do it in present tense, as if it's already real. I can't tell you how many clients just very naturally go into I want, I wish, I want, I wish. So no, we're not doing that. We're not doing the I wants or I will or I wish. What we are declaring is language that sounds like I am or I have or I experience or I am manifesting, right? Words matter. Okay, I talk about words a lot, right? In Kabbalistic tradition, the spoken word, right? Dibur in Hebrew, dibur is considered a genuinely creative force. Words carry vibrational frequency. Those frequencies also exist as particles that create realities. Sound frequency is creation. Right? So I write it and then I say it out loud and then speak your reality into being, right? How did the creator create the cosmos, as we learned through Torah and Kabbalah, through Asara Dibrot, to the 10 utterances through speech. So if God created the cosmos through quote unquote speech, and then created man and woman in the image of God. He created us in the image of God. That means we are a microcosm of this macro creative force, making us co-creators. So if God uses speech to create and then created us in God's image, then it goes without saying, our speech carries power. And then that takes us to step 3. And this step is all about checking in with your alignment. And this is honestly one of my favorite things to do. And I really think you're going to find it so stinking useful, because most people who are struggling to manifest something aren't failing at wanting the thing, right? We want what we want. So we're not failing at wanting. We want. So we're good at wanting. So what we're failing at is alignment, right? Which means that there is a leak somewhere in our tree, in our mind, body, heart, spirit architecture, right? The tree of life. In Kabbalah, I spoke about it in depth in the previous episode, right? So there's energy that is coming in at the top. And so what we have the desire on the realm of Keter, right? At the top of the tree, we have the vision. But somewhere between the crown, the top sphira in the tree, and the kingdom of Malchut at the bottom of the tree, something's getting stuck or something's leaking out. Right? And that's where we kind of have to like do some inner excavation work and see where the kink is. Hi, Ayelet here. I just wanted to pop in and say I am so excited to officially introduce the Manifestation Method portal, membership, and app. This is your home for all things Kabbalistic manifestation. You'll get access to my monthly live workshops, soul deep hypno activations and attunements, all of our manifestation courses, and our global community of manifestors. And the best part, it's just $26 a month. That's less than a latte a week. Come manifest alongside me and start creating the life you desire and deserve. Head over to ayeletpolonsky.com to join us. Okay, and so here's what I want you to do in this step. I want you to take your intention and walk it through the tree. All right, so you can ask yourself honestly, and here, I'll walk you through the tree and give you prompts and questions that you can actually ask yourself. So pull out a paper and pen, because I think this is going to be useful for you to actually journal on this and get really super duper clear, right? So, okay, at the realm of Keter, crown, the top sphira on your tree, you can ask yourself, is this desire genuinely, authentically mine, right? Does it feel soul level true? Or am I chasing someone else's version of success? Boom, simple. Next, we take it through the realm of Chokhmah, right? The next sphira. And the question you ask yourself here in this energetic center is, do I have a clear, specific, undivided vision of this, or is it still fuzzy? Right? So this is where you ask yourself, am I clear, or am I just saying I want abundance, I want to feel good, I want to be happy, right? That's really vague, that's really broad. And I always say a vague or confused intention will result in a vague or confused manifestation, right? So do you have a clear, specific idea of what it is that you want? Next, we take it through the sphira of Bina, and the question here can be, have I actually thought through what this reality would look and feel like? Have I let this vision fully develop? Right? So like now we're starting to build something a little bit more real, a little bit more tangible, at least in the realm of thought. Okay? Which then takes us down to the sphira of Chesed. And the question here would be, am I actually open to receiving this? Can I let good things in? Or do I deflect them or doubt them when they show up? Am I available for good, for blessings, for bracha? Am I available for it? Am I a yes for this? Can I allow myself to receive the chesed, the abundance? Okay, and then that takes us to the sphira of Gevura. And the question here would be, am I actually willing to do the work? Am I showing up consistently? Am I willing to let go of what doesn't serve this intention? Right? That's some scary stuff. It can be if we're working with some real big, deep identity work, let's say. Right? Am I willing to almost like change who I am in a way by showing up and doing the work and letting go of old patterns, beliefs, identifications that no longer serve me? Right? So you get to ask yourself that question honestly, which then takes us down to Tiferet. And the question here could be, is my heart genuinely in this desire? Right? When I picture this reality, does my whole body say yes? That's important. Super important. I could do a whole podcast episode just on this. I was about to go on a tangent and actually go there, but then I realized we'd be here for 2 more hours. So I'm going to take a sacred pause and stay on track here. So this takes us to the next sphira of Netzach. And the question here could be, am I letting myself actually feel the desire? Am I giving myself permission for it to be alive in me? Right? This is where we go into like the feeling of it. And then we go into Hod. The question with Hod could be, Have I spoken it out loud? Have I written it down? Have I created some kind of ritual or practice around it? Right? So much of my life revolves around ritual. And when I have an intention, like I have a shamanic altar that I meditate with every morning. And right at the center of the altar, which is like where my soul lives, right at the center of the northeast, southwest directions, is me at the center, my soul, my desires, my true, true, true soul's purpose. And so I will actually take a little note card and write it down. What is it that I'm calling in? And I'll put it right at the center of my mesa, of my altar. This is creating ritual practice around it, which is Hod. Which then takes us to Yesod, which asks the question, what do I secretly actually believe about whether this is possible for me? Right? What do I actually believe about this being a possibility for me? This is a big one. So be really honest here. Like, what are my beliefs? Because this is where we'll start to uncover what's been in our blind spot, what's been in the realm of the unconscious, and bring it to the realm of awareness, so that from this place we can really begin to alchemize old beliefs into new beliefs, old patterns into new patterns. What was once deemed impossible, because I'm now aware that it was a belief, I can now deem as a living, breathing possibility for me. Okay, and then we go finally into Malchut. And here we ask, am I taking action? Aligned action? Am I moving toward this in the physical world? And so if you go through this list and you find a no, right? No, I'm not actually doing this authentically, as I go through all the sfirot and I realize there's the kink and I'm not doing this authentically, then you found where your work is, right? That's where you focus. The tree is your map. So use it, because it is the most cosmic manifestation blueprint that we have, right? Okay, so shifting gears just a little bit, but not too off topic. So in quantum physics, there's a concept called entanglement. And this is a phenomenon where two particles become connected, no matter how far apart they are. What happens to one instantly affects the other, right? Distance doesn't matter, they're linked. I remember that when I was, I think, 14, a friend of mine came to pick me up in his new car. And so he took me and my brothers and I on a car ride, and we were about half a mile away from my parents' house. And within a couple minutes of us leaving the house, the cops showed up to sorry, let me rewind. We got into a little car accident and my mom felt it. She's told me after, she felt it instantly. She said, something just happened and something's wrong. And then a minute later, the cop showed up to her house and said, okay, everything's okay. Your kids are okay. There was a little accident. Okay. And so the distance didn't matter here, right? My mom was linked to her kids. She felt something because we are linked, no matter how far apart we are on the realm of consciousness and the quantum, we're linked. Okay. And so taking this idea and applying it to our manifestation practice, you can literally entangle yourself with your desired reality right now. Right? This is what mystical teachers across cultures and centuries have been pointing to. The big manifesting great Neville Goddard, he called it living now in the end result. Living now in the end result. Or we have in our sacred Kabbalistic text, Sefer Yetzirah, a line. We also sing this line in Kabbalah Shabbat Friday night. And the line is, Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Right? The end result is wedged in the initial thought. Another way to think about this is the Kabbalists call it hitlabshut, meaning clothing yourself in a reality before it becomes visible. So the quantum field doesn't respond to what you want, contrary to so many people's beliefs. It doesn't just respond to what you want. We all want. We're not failing at wanting, remember. The quantum field responds to what we are. In fact, wanting actually signals lack. It signals that the thing is not here. Right? I want this thing. I wish for this thing. I hope for this thing. Okay, so it's not here because I want it. It's not here. So there's lack in the wanting. But being, right, when you're in a state of being and actually inhabiting the frequency of your desired reality, right, that's what the field mirrors back to you. And so the practice is this. Every single morning, I invite you to spend 10 minutes fully inside your desired reality. Not looking at it from the outside like it's a movie, but actually seeing yourself in it. This is what I guide people through in my hypno activations. I have a whole membership that I've made super affordable for this reason, because I want everyone to access the magic that happens when you learn how to be in the frequency of your desired reality. What does this mean? It means, what does the air feel like in your desired reality? What sounds do you hear? How does your body feel from the inside of that version of your life, right? Who are you on the level of being when you are being that person? How do you hold yourself? How do you walk into a room? Right? And so you get to spend time there, breathe there, let your nervous system register it as real. Let the cells of your body feel it. Right? And then when you open your eyes, you go live as that person a little bit more each day. You make decisions as that person. You respond to life as that person. And then what happens is something miraculous, is the field will start to organize itself around the signal that you're sending it. And this is how manifestation works, really, truly. And so I want to actually share this other concept, because I think it might be the most comforting and one of the most important things about this entire episode, although I think everything about this episode is important. But if you're going through a really hard lesson right now, then this idea is for you. I think a lot of us are going through a real, either a deep night of the soul, dark night of the soul. We're in a portal, things are moving, we're experiencing quantum leaps at a really quick speed, right? So this one's for us, myself included. And this teaching, again, comes from Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, also known as the Ari. I brought him up in the previous episode as well. And he talks about Shvirat HaKelim, which translates to the breaking of the vessels. Okay, and so here's the story. Stay with me here. Okay, so in the original process of creation, when God created the world, divine light poured into vessels that were meant to hold the light. Okay, but it's God's light, and God's light, what do we know about God's light? It was so powerful, so immense, that the vessels could not contain the magnitude of that light. So what happened is these actual energetic vessels shattered. And when the vessels shattered, the shards of the shattered vessels fell everywhere. And they embedded, what was embedded in each shard, broken shard, was a spark of divine light. Okay, and these scattered vessels that all carry a spark of divine light scattered throughout all of creation. And these sparks are hidden inside everything. They are hidden inside the brokenness, hidden inside the darkness, hidden inside the failure, the loss, the heartbreak, you name it. Right? And so the whole purpose of human life, according to this teaching, is tikkun, repair. Our role here on planet Earth is to gather those sparks. By doing that, we elevate hidden light, right? This is what it means to be a light worker, right? We find the divine even in the broken places, especially in the broken places, right? One of my favorite songs, Ve'afilu behastara shebetara bevadai gam sham nimtza Hashem yitbarach. Even in the hiddenness of the hiddenness of the hiddenness, right? Even in the pain and the suffering and the heartbreak and the brokenness, right? Bevadai gam sham, especially there, we find divinity. We find God, right? So here's what this means for you in your real life. Every time something in your life breaks, whether it's a relationship, a job, a plan that you had, or a belief about yourself, it is not a sign that you're failing, and it is not a sign that you're off track. It is often just a sign that you have simply grown too big for the vessel that you were in. Okay, really let that land. So good, so important. Your light, your consciousness, your soul, at a certain point in your life has expanded beyond the form that used to hold it. And so the breaking itself is the expansion. The dissolution is preparation for a larger, more aligned, more luminous, more expansive version of yourself. Okay. And so if you are in a breakdown season right now, if things feel like they're falling apart and you can't understand why, please hear this. The quantum field is not punishing you. Hashem is not punishing you. You are not being abandoned. You are being reorganized, reconfigured. The old form had to shatter so that the larger form could emerge. And so if you look at what's breaking, with eyes that are trained to see light in dark places, you will find the sparks. You will find the redirections. You will find the lessons. The doors that are opening because the ones that needed to close finally did. And that is what you will come to experience when you learn to look at the world through trained eyes, that everything, all the brokenness has light that wants to be revealed. So Shvirat Kelim says that nothing is wasted, not even the shattering vessel. Oh my gosh, that's so good. If I can toot my own horn. So good. Okay. All right. Let me land this. You are not a billiard ball being knocked around a table by forces outside of your control. No. You are a ripple in the quantum field. You are a spark of Ein Sof, of the infinite, clothed in what looks like a body, a consciousness whose very awareness participates in the creation of reality. You are a walking, breathing tree of life with 10 dimensions of creative power flowing through you right now. You are the observer, and what you choose to observe, what you hold clear, sustained, heart-connected in your awareness is what you are at the deepest level of physics and mysticism. Both are helping you bring that into form. And so just trust and know that this field that I keep talking about, right? This field is not ignoring you, and it is not withholding from you. This field is so deeply responding to you, always precisely, faithfully, and responding to the signal that you are broadcasting, right? So the question here is not, does manifestation really work, right? People ask me that all the time. Yeah, obviously it works, or I wouldn't be spending hours and hours and hours and hours every day doing this work with people, right? The real question is, what signal are you sending? Are you willing to get quiet enough to touch the infinite? Are you willing to get specific enough to do your own tzimtzum, your own contraction of bringing things into clear, unified intention? Are you willing to climb your own tree of life and do the real, honest work on every level of your being? And are you willing to inhabit your desired reality so fully that you quantum entangle yourself with it? And are you willing to find the light inside what has shattered? Because if you are a yes to all of the questions I just mentioned, then the field is ready for you. In fact, it's always been ready for you. It's been waiting for you to remember that you are made of it. Phew, that was a lot. Okay, you guys. I think that's our episode. Maybe I'll do a part 3, but for now we'll leave it here. Please let me know your feedback, your comments, your questions, where this landed for you. Right? This one really feels special to me. This is the kind of stuff that I think about all the time, and I'm so grateful to get to share it with you. And so if something in this episode landed for you, will you please share it? Will you send it to a friend who's in the middle of their becoming? Or will you screenshot your favorite moment and tag me on Instagram? Leave a review if this was the kind of content that made something click for you, right? That stuff, that sharing it, paying it forward genuinely means everything, because it helps so many more people find this little corner of the internet that I just wish everyone knew about. So come find me on Instagram and tell me which part of this episode hit you the hardest, right? Was it the quantum field? Was it the tzimtzum? Was it the shvirat kelim? I really, truly want to know. I want to hear from you. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Until next time, here's to your rising. If you enjoyed this episode, let's keep the conversation going inside the Manifestation Method Portal app, your #1 destination for Kabbalistic manifestation. Inside, you'll unlock the secrets of manifestation through my proven Abra method, rooted in Kabbalah, psychology, and quantum physics, designed to help you manifest real, tangible results from the inside out. Join our global community of manifestors, explore our signature courses, monthly live manifestation workshops with me, Ayelet, and access our transformational hypno activations and attunements to rewire limiting beliefs and align with your soul's purpose. The app is available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play. To sign up, head over to ayeletpolonsky.com. Becoming a co-creator with the Creator is your birthright. Let's manifest the life you desire and deserve together.